Okay, so this is Dr. Tariq Pereira.
Hey, doctor.
I can see some of you, I can't see all of you.
All right.
Oh.
Well, you can see a little bit, right?
Right, I can see a little bit, yeah.
Okay, so I just explained how you treated Camry successfully, and I showed a video of you on the news and talked
Okay.
about the partnership with Dr. Yang and bringing this to Bryn Mawr. So with that, everybody's glad to at least see you on Skype, and we're glad you're here.
Hello there, thank you for coming. So the people in the audience, are you, give a little bit of description of who you are?
I would give a description of who
You
we
have,
are.
is it all clinicians or patients, or I just need to know who we're talking
We have staff.
She's asking who's in the.
I'm a psychiatrist.
We have a psychiatrist. We have
I'm just someone interested in this
interested in TMS.
TMS, so.
Okay. Great. Oh, there you go, I can see all of you now. Great, thank you for coming. So what I want to do is, talk a little bit about TMS, but also give you the opportunity to ask any questions you might have. TMS, as you obviously know, is called transcranial magnetic stimulation.
Uh-oh.
Oh dear.
It is hold on one second, just see. So it is really a breakthrough in the treatment of depression. It's the first treatment that actually targets the brain circuits that contribute to our thought patterns. If you think about medications, they are really chemicals that go all over our brain. If you're lucky, it gets to the parts of the brain getting conditions. And the reason for that is, for the longest time, we did not know the firing patterns of the circuits in the brain involved in depression and other psychiatric and certain neurological conditions. But over the last 15-20 years, through a technology called functional brain imaging, we are able to see the brain it's involved in psychiatric conditions. And you have, these are called MRI scans, special kinds of MRI scans and PET scans, where we can see the firing paths of neurons when we have certain thoughts, when we're happy, when we're sad, when we're laughing, when we're crying. You can see it's actually like trying to catch lightning in a bottle. It's an amazing technology. And one of the more consistent findings with functional brain scans, which is being able to read people's minds literally, is the pathways involved in depression. So when people are depressed, the left front part of the brain, which is important for enjoyment and motivation, tends to get underactive, and then its ability to control deeper regions that cause anxiety and ruminations is weakened. So it's because of that we see the whole syndrome of depression. When you feel sad, you don't enjoy things, start ruminating, motivations are down, you get moody, can't sleep, can't eat, etc. Then they also looked at brain scans, functional brain scans of people who got better with treatment, whether it's therapy or antidepressants, and they found that regardless of the treatment, when people got better, that left front part of the brain became more activated. And so that's when they realized that is important for enjoyment and pleasure. And then they started thinking about how could we activate this in a most precise, specific manner, and along came TMS. TMS, or transcranial magnetic stimulation, is a technology that has been around since the 1800s as a research tool. But they found that this magnetic coil, when placed against the head and when activated, can create magnetic waves that causes brain cells to fire. And if you train those brain cells to fire, you do that for 30 minutes each day, 5 days a week. After about 3 or 4 weeks, those brain cells learn to have an increased firing pattern, and that is associated with recovery from depression. So that part of the brain eventually becomes activated, and then all of a sudden you can take pleasure in things, you can be motivated, you're able to control other negative emotions, and that is really what recovery from depression is all about. So for the first time in the history of psychiatry, we are able to target the brain circuits involved in depression, and amazingly do so in a very non-invasive, safe manner. This does not involve medications, not putting anything in your body. People, most of the time, they watch TV while the treatment is going on. They feel a tapping sensation. And typically, you keep doing this, and in about 3 weeks, people start feeling better. And in about 4 to 6 weeks, they get completely better. Now, in the studies where TMS was evaluated, patients who failed antidepressants, who had treatment-resistant depression, were taken, and this was tried, and about more than 50% of people got better. Now, what we found is that those people are taken off medications, therapy, etc. But if patients do continue the medications, even if they're not helping, and continue therapy, etc., those things create a platform on which TMS can be more effective. So in our hands and others who use it like us, about 70 to 80% of these patients who are not responding or not completely responding to antidepressants do get better, and most of them get completely well. So when it comes to at least insurance coverage, what they decided to do was that if you tried 3 to 4 antidepressants, and if you didn't get well, you could have gotten better, but if you didn't get well, then all insurances, including Medicare, said, okay, we're going to cover TMS. Because the research data shows that once you've tried 3 or 4 antidepressants, the chance of the 5th or 6th working is less than 1%. With TMS, there's a 70 to 80% success rate of getting somebody not just better, but most often well. And it's pretty fast, too. When people who come to us have been depressed for months, years, decades, when they do get better, remember, it's not in everyone, but in those who do get better, within 3 weeks, they start more or less well. And then once they get completely well, we stop the TMS, and then most of them will reduce the medication. Sometimes they come off everything, sometimes they can't. They may stay on a low dose of something, and they stay well. About 30% of those patients might sometimes come back to do some booster if they're showing signs of relapse, and 70% don't. So when we take people who are failing antidepressants, about 70 to 80% of them, we can get them well, and we can keep them well. About a third might need to come back for additional sessions, but they still continue to stay well. So that's an amazing breakthrough if you compare that to medications, where only about 30 or 40% of people get better. Most of them don't get well, and we stop the medications, they relapse. This is a big breakthrough, and that is because for the first time we can scientifically target the circuits. And because we do that, it is safer than medications. You don't have the side effects, the weight changes, no side effects, heartburn, all that kind of stuff. You might feel a little bit of tapping sensation, a little bit of pressure in your temple, but that's mild. It tends to go away. In fact, we found that TMS is a treatment for chronic pain. I'll talk a little bit about some of the other things that can treat, but so that's how they found it. It is very safe. The only people who can do TMS are people who have magnetic metal implants in their brain. So even if you have nickel or titanium shunts, and you can have an MRI scan in your brain, then you can certainly do TMS, because it's really technology is MRI based. So there's no radiation involved. This is not electroshock therapy. It is really magnetic treatment, just like an MRI scan, and it's slow wave magnetism. So in that sense, it's even safer than a cell phone, which is fast wave magnetism. Very safe. We've treated kids as young as 7. Remember, antidepressants can cause suicidal thought in children. So we've gone to even little children at 7. That's off-label because it's FDA approved only for adult depression. But some parents, they don't want to expose the children to medications. We've treated pregnant women. Again, it's not yet officially recommended pregnancy, but we know from a scientific clinical standpoint, this might be the only thing that's safe in pregnancy, because all antidepressants seem to have some kind of problem in the children. And we've treated that group. We've treated, the elderly, different ages, with great success. I got involved in TMS during my training at Columbia, and one of the first people actually to be certified as a TMS treater. Initially, I was a skeptic. I went into other areas of research, but once TMS got FDA approved in 2008, I came back and started doing it again.